Thank you all for coming. Big thank you to Doc NYC and to HBO for supporting this and supporting this film. I'm very, very grateful to both of them. I'm very grateful to David Bowie, the fucking genius. And I'm very, very grateful to so many of the people who are here tonight, including Tony Visconti, the amazing Tony Visconti. The amazing Carlos Alomar. The incredible Mark Platty. Sterling Campbell.
Where are you guys?
Robin Clark.
Wave hello.
And Gail Ann Dorsey. And so many others, My cameraman's here is Richard Numeroff, who filmed this, and Sean. And yeah, there's a big team behind this, and they did a astounding job, and I am indebted to them.
They absolutely did. So this is your second film on David.
Yes.
And so you've spent a lot of time with him as a subject.
I have.
Talk about your personal connection to him, to his art, what he's meant to you.
Oh, I was a childhood fan, so he's meant a lot to me since I nicked my brother's album, I think, when I was about 10. And I think it was Aladdin Sane, and I think I remember being shocked and excited in equal measure. Shocked by the cover and delighted by the music. So from that moment on, I was a fan, and I'm still a fan. And my first directing job at the BBC was a series of short films, 2-minute films, before a program they have called Newsnight. And I had to find people to discuss artworks. They were sculpture works, 20th century British sculpture. It wasn't a very easy task. And I didn't know how to do it or what to do. And my boss said, write to your heroes. And so I wrote to David Bowie, not expecting a response, but I got one about a week later when he phoned me up. And he said he would love to do it. And so he did a little piece about a piece of sculpture called Sacred, which was a piece of stone in a wood, which just had the word sacred on it. And even then I didn't know what to do with it. And he wrote a sort of poem around it, and he put a track from the Buddha of Suburbia called Ian Fish to it, and it just worked very well, and we stayed in touch from that moment on. So.
That's a spectacular story. I wasn't expecting that with that question. So, of course, this film covers a period that you found out in the process would be the end of David's life.
Yeah.
And it makes it all that more poignant. Talk about the challenges of having to complete the film once he'd left us.
Well, I was very worried about how I was going to make this film, because there wasn't any material really, except for the videos. There wasn't any material, and I didn't think I could make, which is what I'd been asked to make, a 90-minute film. And I thought, it's fine for the first film, which was called 5 Years. That was fine because we had the material, but I didn't know how I was going to make 90 minutes out of this. And the solution was some of the musicians who are here tonight, because of their generosity and going through some of those songs. And a lot of those songs, well, all of those songs for the Next Day Band, and indeed the Black Star Band, but for the Next Day Band, they'd never played this stuff live. And, so it was sort of the first time they'd ever played some of this stuff. So that was kind of extraordinary together. And I suppose what's so remarkable is my editor sort of synced up the music that they played with the videos, and it was perfect. And it's a mark of their brilliant musicianship that he was able to do that they were all so much in time, and to Sterling and Zach keeping the rhythm so beautifully. And it's extraordinary achievement on their part. Absolutely.
Archival material is also a large part of the film.
Yeah.
Having, again, spent so much time with David and as a subject, Was there material that you were surprised that you learned something new in making this film?
It was great to see that footage of Hermione, wasn't it? You know, his first girlfriend. I think that was wonderful. Although that's sort of out there, it was kind of extraordinary. And, you know, I think Tony tells the story of how he knew it was a bit cheeky that David had done that. And, you know, the Song of Norway stuff I thought was remarkable. But Tony Ursler gave us some of that behind-the-scenes footage of the making of Where Are We Now, which was very good. And the hype footage, which has yet a very young Tony Visconti. Where is Tony? Tony? Tony?
Ah, right there.
You are hiding. And there's a young Tony. What was the character you played, Tony? You were Hype Man, were you? And David was what, Gangster Man or? Ronson was Gangster Man, and then there was Hype Man. Who else? Rainbow Man, of course he was. Okay, so there is a young Tony Visconti looking quite brilliant in 1968, 69. Absolutely. So that footage was pretty remarkable, and it's the first time it's ever been seen. There's a little bit more of it somewhere actually as well. They play White Light, White Heat, and what was the other song? The Superman, which is what we hear there. What was the other one, Tony? Do you know? No. Sorry? Width of a Circle, exactly. Exactly. So that was wonderful footage to see David at that time. But yeah, I have a brilliant archive producer called Miriam Walsh, and she finds things that no one else can ever find.
And enriches your films with it. I'm going to turn it over to the audience. I'm sure there's lots of questions here for Francis. So we have mics in the audience. So please raise your hand, and someone will bring a mic over to you. There's a question right here.
Actually, if you come down, it'd be better.
Oh, okay. There's a mic on the stand. So if you can come up to the stands on either aisle.
Can I just pass it to him? No?
All right. So we'll start over here.
I have a question about something I saw on the poster, which I haven't seen before in another documentary, a line that says commissioned by, and then the name Jan or Jan, young husband.
That's right.
I haven't seen that kind of credit before on a documentary, specifically a line for commissioned by. Can you just explain what that credit means and how that came about?
I don't know whether I can. I mean, Jan is a wonderful woman. I mean, Jan is a friend of mine, and she did a lot in terms of commissioning the first film, and also this film. And I think more credit should be given to some of the commissioners who take the risks on these films in the first place. So that's why she was on there. But it is quite a new thing. In the old days on BBC credits, we never had the commissioner, but we do now.
So it's somebody whose idea it is to make the film and then sort of comes up with the funding, or?
Yeah, that sort of thing, yeah, exactly. At the BBC, the person who will give the go-ahead and put the money behind it, yeah.
Got it, thank you.
So without her, I would be nothing.
Great.
Is that
Yeah,
a
this
British
film would be
way to
nothing.
say executive producer?
No, there was an executive producer as well.
Okay.
So no, she is the commissioner, but she'll come into the edit and that sort of thing. But yeah.
Nobody's on this side, so go ahead.
Hi, I really liked the documentaries, this one and the previous one, and I was wondering if there are any plans to release them. I mean, I understand BBC has to be involved, and I guess now HBO too, but it might take some time, but
Absolutely.
it'd be great. I think a lot of people would enjoy it.
I would love to do that, but there are rights issues, and the music is not owned by the BBC, it's owned by David Bowie's estate, and there are all sorts of rights issues to do with the archive, and indeed the contributors in that film. So while one day I would really like that, and particularly both films, I would love it, because the first film is going to sort of go out of service in about a year. It loses its license. So that'll be a great shame, and we can't even at the BBC show it again. So I would love it to be forever.
But this film will be broadcast on HBO.
It
It'll
will be
on
shown on the
January 8th.
8th, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So this will have a much longer shelf life.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for the question. Anybody else? Well, you have the musicians here. I was hoping that they'd want to share with us about the experience of
Yeah.
being in the film. Can I get any of you guys to come up and talk to us a little bit about how it was to work with Francis? Anybody?
One of you guys must do it. Otherwise, I'll pick on you, like in a class.
Oh, they're
You've got the
shy.
stories much more than I have. Carlos. Carlos, Carlos, Carlos.
There we go.
Like many of you, I did not know anything about David's illness. So I really want to tell you how much I appreciate your being able to not only go backstage and get the sentiment behind the issue of this the issue of this film, but really to find the sentiment behind David and the motivation. But I would like to know, during the time that you had to do this, did you have to reschedule? Because scheduling and filming is everything. Sometimes it takes longer, sometimes it doesn't. But did you have to reschedule anything really drastically once you did find out that he was ill?
I was really lucky with you and with all the band that it may have been luck in some ways, but you were all incredibly generous. So I set aside dates and I said, this is when I have to come, because we had very short time. By the time it was commissioned, and then the money got together, and then the funding from abroad was all collected, etc. We really didn't have that long. I think I started it in August, and then I had 2 weeks holiday, so I really properly started it in September, and it was finished by December. It was a very, very short period, and so we were very lucky that all the musicians, I can't remember when we filmed, in October or something, and all the musicians were around, and they all gave their time very freely, and it was relatively easy. So we were just very lucky.
Well, congratulations, because it was a wonderful farewell. Well done.
Thank you very much, Carlos. Thank you to the amazing Carlos Alomar. Sterling, could you say something, please?
I just want to say one thing, and that's rest in peace to Paul Buckmaster.
Absolutely right.
Because he did the string arrangements for Space Oddity, and he passed away 2 days ago. So that's...
What a lovely gesture. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's brilliant. Brilliant. Gail? Do you have to? No, you don't, Gail. But I would like you to. Oh, I'm sorry, Gail. I'm really sorry.
We don't bite.
Well, I want to say thank you to you, Francis, because you did do a beautiful job at, I think, capturing a lot of things that we all felt and feel. And I don't know, I'm kind of lost for words. I've been talking about this a lot for the last year, and there's not much to say other than how special I feel that I had a chance to work with someone so special to everyone in the world. And I'm a tiny, tiny, tiny minority of people, as you are part of that as well, to have been touched personally by his work. And, you know, blessings to us all. It's a great blessing, and I'm humbled by it deeply.
Thank you,
So,
Gail. Thank you so much. That's lovely. Beautiful. Mark, the wonderful Mark Platty. Sorry to ask you to get out there.
it was an honor to be asked to be a part of this wonderful work. And I just heard, like everybody else now, how quickly you put this together, and that was pretty phenomenal. I'll just echo what Gail said, and how, you know, to watch this and to kind of relive what it was like to be one of the lucky few to be part of his world and to collaborate with him and know him. And, you know, it's so bittersweet and, well, wonderful, really, you know, to have been there and to see it again. And you did a wonderful job of putting it all together and, you know, wrapping it up from not just the last 5 years, but everything before that that led to those last 5 years. So bravo.
Thank you. Thank you very, very, very much. Thank you. And if we could have the last word from you, Tony, is that possible? He left. Did he know this was going to happen? Yeah, exactly. Okay. Okay. Well, I think that's
I
That's
think
about
that's our note then, our end note.
That's our note.
Thank you so much, Francis.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you all for joining
Thank you to
us.
HBO. Thank you, Doc NYC. And thank you to everyone for coming. Thank you.